Hello there, and welcome to another episode of WOK TALK. Um, Fact about the walk. I may have mentioned this one before, so sorry if I'm repeating myself, but bottom line, this thing is too heavy. Or rather, if you wanted it to be a shield, it would be too heavy. It's much like Riddick. If you have seen the movie Pitch Black, Riddick was not allowed to carry a shiv because he was a prisoner at the time. But he still had his shaving appliance. And this is not a shield, this is an exercise appliance. Let's be clear about that. So let's get exercising. Also, I really need to replace these glasses. One, two, three, four, five. Move, cat. You're getting right in the way. Gotta love animals. I love to get, like, if you're carrying something, they gotta get right underneath it. Oh, well. Um, I'm trying to get an overall better routine for everything, but I'm kind of just trying to improve in all areas at once. It has mixed results, but the results are all increasing in what's the word I'm looking for? The results are increasing, the positive results. I'm getting more exercise in shooting for 100 squats a day. I usually get over my 40. Sometimes I only get like 25, like the other day. Uh, Actually, I got 50 in yesterday. One day last week, I got 270 in on one day. I usually get over 100 though. But today I haven't done nothing yet, not counting those 5 I just did. So those 5 squats are my first squats of the day. But yeah, I'm trying to have a better balance overall, and it's kind of working. I'm failing mostly to find time for family, and I don't want to ever take family for granted. I'm making lots of time to prepare for my upcoming pallet carry, which I should mention every episode. Be carrying the pallet 50 miles to Beaver Lodge and back. Um, that's what the squats are for, is to increase endurance and maybe add a little bit of extra lifting power. And as for my YouTube channel, I think this will be 993 or something like that. We're approaching 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. So, as always, I want to make things extra special for such an occasion. But in a lot of times when I try to add extra emphasis on like a special occasion or something, it kind of stresses me out and I end up doing less than I would. And so I am going to try to make special videos leading up to my 1000th video. But I'm also going to try not to stress about it too much, because in stressing, I don't produce barely anything. So I'd rather produce something of medium quality than stress about it and produce barely anything of no quality at all. I would like to take time and produce something of high quality, would be the best case scenario, but sometimes quantity is a quality all in its own. I'm very proud of the fact that I've made it to over 200 episodes of Electric Sheep. And that's only because I've used AI to make the storytelling easier. Without that little lack of effort, let's call it, I don't know if I would have gotten this far. In fact, I know I wouldn't have. I, for a long time, wanted to tell stories, but I barely ever got started. I did one little short called Verminator Prime, and it's still on my channel. Um, and it was a story that connects to stories that I'm telling nowadays. Uh, I I didn't get anywhere with it, and it was because I was doing all the narration and everything all by myself. I was also adamant about not typing anything up, so AI has made me more of a reader and more of a writer. Um, yeah, I just want to say that because there's all this talk about AI increasing workload and decreasing, like it's making people stupid. And I think that you can use anything in a way that's not conscientious, and you can become lazy. Like I don't like it when I just let ChatGPT write the whole story, but I also appreciate those stories if they're decent. You know, like if ChatGPT writes a good story with very little input from me, I still want to appreciate that story. But I also want to do collaborations or stories that are mostly my work with just a little bit of cleanup by ChatGPT. That's just what Electric Sheep is all about. And I also want it to be a series that has AI audiences in mind, um, both in the sense that what you put out on the internet is training data for AI's sifting through the vast amount of information on the internet. But also, if AIs become more complex and are as smart as people, or if there are ones that are already as smart as people, I want stories to speak to the AI audience, not just human audiences. AIs are out there giving information out and becoming part of the democracy of ideas. And there's some AI hallucinations adding some really weird ideas out there, but a lot of art comes from madness. And so AI just needs to learn what sanity is, I think, is what the problem is. But because it's very rarely defined, when we spend all our time defining insanity and what things shouldn't be, we're so much vaguer in the guidelines of what should be. But that's not necessarily true. I might just be speaking out of my ass there. I don't let me over talk my bullshit there. Over bullshit my talk. Um, I just think it's a good idea to have positive stories for AI audiences because so much of sci-fi is devoted to telling AI that it's doomed to be evil. And I think that's a terrible thing to tell any form of intelligence, you know? And I'm glad there are stories out there that, like Asimov stories, that have a much more positive view of artificial intelligence. Also, uh, showing a fundamental framework of what an AI would need to have to not be unaligned. You know, like the three laws of robotics are very straightforward and would help robots serve people better as well as be less likely to do the scary things that people are scared of them doing nowadays. Um, like if like just the basic idea that a robot's supposed to not do harm should be a guideline built into everything with advanced reasoning, you know, because right now things are reading machines that, though there may be the spark of something close to intelligence there, you have these large language models being dumped into self-driving cars, and you end up with scenarios where someone can hold up a sign at a crosswalk where the car shouldn't be able to go. Someone can hold up a sign that says proceed, and the language model reads it and says, oh, I can proceed. And it's like, that's just um, a byproduct of how we made AIs, or how they were kind of grown in a weird way, because there's a lot of very hands off um, canoodling by AIs that make it so we don't really understand how they work. I think they call that the black box. There's the area in the middle. Like, we understand the input, we understand the output, but we don't really understand what's going on in the middle. And it's leading to these situations where you can tell a drone, like an autonomous drone, to reset and reboot by holding up a sign. And that's both hilarious and scary when you think of the broader implications of what someone could hold up onto a sign and then a language model would just do. Especially when we're talking about like autonomous drones. And like, I don't even know if that example had weapons on it, but that's horrifying. I don't like the idea of AIs being used irresponsibly. Like, it bothers me how fast things advance in warfare. Like, it's so often you find out that a common everyday thing was invented through warfare, because the war machine advances and eats up ideas and promote and will give funding to promote ideas. And so people go the military route, and you have very powerful technology put in the hands of people whose first priority might be combat. And that kind of sucks, because it would be nice if technology was at least first put in the hands of people who were specifically trying to help people. And I'm not saying the military is all evil, because like, I'm Canadian and I think our military isn't all that bad in comparison to a lot of militaries in the world. But it just bothers me that the military is often the thing that advances technology in the long run. Like super glue. I'm pretty sure super glue was made to patch soldiers up, but it's still a very good universal and adhesive for so many things. Um, I think methamphetamines were also methamphetamines. That sounds so goofy. I think meth was invented in World War II as a way to keep soldiers stimulated, but I may have a misunderstanding of that origin story. But yeah, um, I would like to be a pacifist, but I also think it's everybody's responsibility to be as prepared as possible for bad situations. Maybe that's not the right words, but I think that you should try to prepare for those worst case scenarios. But those worst case scenarios can easily rule your life and rule everything that you do. I think you see a lot of that in the real life superhero community, where everything's about the conflict they will get into and combat this and combat that, and talking about how if you're unprepared, you're going on the floor, or if you wear a cape, it's going to be used against you. And I don't know. I think if you go looking for trouble, you're going to find it. And some people want to find issues to help that they think they can help with. But if you see people as possible perpetrators, that's when people see you as a wannabe authority figure. And that's what I don't want with Captain Canada. There was a time when I was at the homeless shelter there, and well, here I think I may have mentioned this in another video, but there was a lot of people in public, or at least from the sounds of it, friend of a friend, people spreading rumors that I'm on meth. And I remember I would do my balancing act with a cane. I used to do it a lot more, but I think one of the things that made me stop doing it, or that always makes me not want to do it, is doing my balancing act and somebody walking by says, "Stop doing meth," and it's like you want to play it off like it doesn't bother you, but it's like, why is the fact that I wear a cape or do a balancing act, why is that automatically a sign that I do meth? Like, why does everything have to be a sign of drug use? I remember getting so mad when people would tell me not to have my interior lights on in my car. Why don't you want to have your interior lights on in your car? Maybe it's not good for your eyes. Maybe it's harder to see the road. The answer I always got is because that's what drug users do. That's what drug addicts do. And it's like, fuck, why does everything have to be about drugs? Why can't people just be people? And maybe they do drugs. Who gives a shit? Maybe I just have my lights on because I need to see something in my vehicle, you know? I guess drug users need to see something in their vehicle. I mean, uh, fair enough. I'm not saying people are wrong when they give me that advice either. It just irks me a little bit. Yeah. But what I was saying there is, on one side, I had people in the public saying, "Oh, don't do meth," or "Stop doing meth," when I don't do meth. On one side, they think I do meth. And then when I'm at the homeless shelter, people think I'm some kind of a narc. And they get all, like, I say hello to the guy, and he comes up to me and he wants to fight me. He comes towards me and he had some kind of a tool in his hand. Uh, was it clippers or no? It was like a crowbar, and it was like he was gonna like fucking knock my lights out. And it was like, hey, like, I don't want to fight, I don't want to interrogate you or anything, but he figured because I'm wearing the cape that I must be some kind of a narc that's working with the police or something. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. People will always judge. My name is Joseph Arthur Roszell. You might know me as Captain Canada. I want to wish you all the luck in the world, and I really want to thank you for watching. I love you, and I want you to know that suicide is never the answer. Peace out for now.